Okay, here we go. Brace yourselves. There's a red dot on Striker. Okay, so increases total weapon damage gained per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65 to 0.85. So before it was 1%. So it's not too bad, but they just nerfed Striker. Bunch of nerfs. Let's see. Grupo takes a hit to crit damage. Wow. Gosh. So does Cheska? What's that about? Oh, that sucks. Cheska takes a hit to crit chance? I mean, that's a staple. St. Elmo's, this is going to suck. Here's the second one that got a hit. Brace yourselves. The whole thing just gets a nerf. They've decreased the mag size. They took away 10 rounds. So it's now maxing out at 60 rounds. Wow, right? Crit damage is changed to 15 from 20%. Wow, they nerfed the shit out of this one. The crit damage went down by 5%. Crit chance went down by 5% also. And the underbarrel weapon handling went down by 10%. Oh, man. Ouroboros. Oh, my Lord. They just nerfed the Ouroboros. They took away rate of fire and gave it a smaller mag. Holy. Oh, my God. They just nerfed the Scorpio. Oh, you guys are going to be pissed. Man. Okay. We're just getting hit left and right. This is the other meta. All of the metas have now been hit officially. Banshee takes a hit. This one was leading on DPS, and now I'm not so sure. It takes rate of fire and base damage hit. No, they nerfed the D50. That was the best pistol, the only one worth using. Obliterate takes a hit. Another meta takes a hit. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 17 times. Well, they nerfed the time, and maybe that's a typo, but it's 10%. It's 10 seconds, and right now, and they're bringing it back down to 5 seconds and taking damage away from us. Shit. Picard's holster gets nerfed. Oh, they really are messing with our heads now. In this one, we're going to be covering new gear and some of the other changes. So the devs apparently rebalanced all of the current items in the game, and that's going to be hitting with Seasons 2.0. We're talking about buffs and nerfs, rebalancing of everything.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
A big day, Banditos. The devs just revealed what we're going to expect for Season 2 and Seasons 2.0, which includes a whole new season progression. And I just covered all of that in this video. It just went live, so if you want the details on the Seasons 2.0 stuff, then you're going to want to watch that video. Now, I've just skimmed through this stuff. Bear with me. There is a ton to go over and a lot of details, but you're going to want to hang in there because there are some changes to the community's most used items. All right, let's start off with the new gear, and I'll go as quickly as possible. So we're getting a new brand set called Legatus, I guess. One piece gives us 30% swap speed, 2 pieces 50% optimal range, and 3 pieces give us 15% weapon damage. Not super excited about this. That's my raw reaction. Swap speed, optimal range. Never been that cool of a thing in this game. And then you have to run all 3 pieces just for 15% weapon damage. Doesn't sound like it's worth it to me. Anyways, there's going to be a named backpack called Vigil, and this is giving us perfect versatile. So this is going to amplify total weapon damage for 10 seconds. So we already have this talent. And when swapping between your primary and secondary weapons, if they are different. So 45% to enemies within 15 meters for shotguns and SMGs. And then for PvP, it's only 35%. And 45% to enemies further than 25 meters for rifles and MMRs. And then 20% to enemies between 15 to 25 meters for LMGs and ARs. So named mask is called Visionario, and its perfect attribute is 50% optimal range. Again, optimal range hasn't been a big deal in this game, but it will be a little bit helpful, but I'm not sure it's going to be worth choosing this over something like, I don't know, the Coyote's mask or just about anything else. We are such underdogs in this game. Optimal range is just not a stat we tend to roll into. We will see if it's an extra stat, if it's an addition to what's already on the attributes, then maybe it'll be worth it. Virtuoso is a gear set that we're going to get. So these are always exciting. 2 pieces gives us 15% weapon handling and mag size of 15%. Ooh, I like that combo. Very nice. 3 pieces, more damage. So far, so good. The 4th piece talent is called Symphony. And so you know, the season theme is all about distance. So killing an enemy further than 30 meters will provide 30% weapon damage to shotguns, SMGs, and pistols, 15% weapon damage to ARs and LMGs, and 25% bonus armor. For 10 seconds, killing an enemy within 30 meters will provide 30% weapon damage to MMRs and rifles within 30 meters. That's neat. So no scope run and gun with your snipers has always been fun for me. Let's see if I can get you guys to do it. 15% weapon damage to ARs and LMGs, and 30% headshot damage for 10 seconds. I think that's to the whole category, so that's cool. That's a lot. Okay, intermittently killing enemies from both ranges will build up stacks. At 4 stacks, all bonuses are doubled and triggered at the same time for 10 seconds. No stacks are acquired while these bonuses are active. Ooh, I never like that because then you're strong and then you're not. We'll see though, we'll see. Chest and backpack talents. The chest bonus, double the weapon damage bonuses on Symphony. Wow, it's pretty good depending on which weapon you're running. Backpack bonus is called Accelerando. Decrease the number of stacks needed to proc the Symphony double buffs from 4 to 3. That's a tough spot to compete with. Centurion's Scabbard Exotic Holster. So talent is called Counter. So swapping weapons will give the following groups of bonuses one by one in order. And so it looks like this is a DPS setup, and we don't have anything like this for the holster. So this is a good addition, I think. So for swapping weapons, you're going to get 20% rate of fire plus 20% weapon damage. Ooh, very nice. The next one is going to give you magazine size and reload speed. So it doesn't look like you get both of those at the same time, but the bonuses remain active for 8 seconds or until you swap again. So swapping to your sidearm will not trigger the next group of bonuses. That's lame. So new weapons and talents. So exotic weapon is going to be the exotic Foul called Strega. The talent will be a nerve. Killing an enemy will apply a mark on every enemy within 20 meters of it. Multiple marks can be applied on the same enemy. Deal 15% amp damage per mark to marked enemies. Sounds nice. Magazine size plus 20 rounds. Muzzle, crit damage, and crit chance. Small stats there. Under barrel, 10% weapon handling. They didn't give us very strong mods on this, and the exotic Foul, or the Foul, tends to have a small magazine. I don't know if 20 rounds is enough there. That might only give it 40 total. We'll see. They rebalanced all of the weapons, so maybe the base Foul got better. It's not horrible though. Interesting. Named weapons and talents. Precision Strike. It's a new weapon talent. Killing enemies further from 20 meters builds up stacks. Max stack is 3. Hitting an enemy within 20 meters will use all stacks to provide plus 20% amplified damage per stack to enemies within 20 meters for 5 seconds. Maybe a good rifle one there. Perfect Precision Strike weapon talent. So killing enemies further than 20 meters builds up stacks, but now you only need 2. Hitting an enemy within 20 meters will use up all the stacks and 35% amp damage. Wow, that's looking good. They reworked the sledgehammer. So dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target. Targets with marks will take 30% more damage to armor from the agent that applied the mark and have a 20% movement speed. Marks disappear after 10 seconds. Oh, that sucks. So it's only going to be for you, the user. So previously it was from all sources. Wow, that sucks. Because this was a really good support weapon and that's how it was being used. But I guess they didn't like how much damage we were dealing. The Mosquito Song exotic pistol that nobody uses. Hitting an enemy applies a stack. Stacks are shared between players. At 5 stacks, the enemy will forcefully target the last player to apply a stack for 5 seconds and take 40% more damage to armor. Ooh, that's good. That's way better. From all sources. So pretty neat. Stacks deplete every 5 seconds. Activating the effect on an enemy will remove all stacks from other enemies. Could be good for a tank player now. So there's going to be a lot of changes. So brace yourself. Seriously, because we have a lot to go through and some of these can be shockers. So rifles. So as of TU22, the following rifles and MMRs will become fully automatic. ACR is going to be fully automatic rifle. I mean, I like the idea, but that's crazy. Wow. The Ravenous, well, that gun just got better. The MK47, I mean, basically all the rifles are automatic. And then for MMRs, the SVD, MK20, G28. I mean, you don't want to hold down the trigger on those ones per se because you're just going to rise to the sky. Some of those rifles the same, but that's just crazy. So we have more changes. That was the new gear. I know I went through it quickly. Apologize for that, but so much more to cover. Let's start with the big one here. The gear and brand sets. and exotic weapons and loot pool updates. This is first reaction for me too. I haven't gone through this. So with the introduction of Seasons 2.0, which brings new features like modifier scouts, party objectives, and the seasonal journey, we've taken a fresh approach to balancing aiming to give different playstyles more distinct personalities. These updates will address a wide range of elements, including various weapon categories, exotic weapons and gear, weapon mods, talents, and gear sets. So everything except for skills. So they helped us by putting a green dot for buffs and a red dot for nerfs. So hardwired, they buffed it, and it looks like it's just the time thing. So the backpack talent, they decreased feedback loop cooldown from 10 to 5 seconds. Cool. Heartbreaker, all right, interesting. We like this set. Headshots apply a pulse for 5 seconds. Weapon hits on pulse enemies add a refresh, a stack of 1% bonus armor, and 1.3% damage to pulse enemies. Before it was 1%. Max stack is 50. Heartbreaker just got stronger. Whoa. Okay, aces and eights. 4-piece talent. So flip a card when landing shots with a rifle or marksman rifle damage. So many people wanted this. That's better than Breakpoint, I think. After 5 cards are flipped, the damage in your next shot is amplified by 30%. I don't need to, it doesn't look like anything else was changed. Oh, wow, I'm super excited to try that out. That's gonna be great. Okay, Breaking Point, backpack talent. This is the gear set called Breaking Point. The backpack talent increases on point weapon damage bonus from 4 to 7.2. Huge buff from 6. That's great. Negotiator's Dilemma takes an increase. Wow, in crowd control damage to additional marked enemies from 60 to 112%. Before it was 100, so a 12% increase per enemy, that is. That's a big chunk, man. Increased hollow point ammo damage amp from 20 to 50. Wow. Whoa. That's glass cannon damage numbers without the glass. Before it was only 35. Okay, here we go. Brace yourselves. There's a red dot on Striker. Okay, so increases total weapon damage gained per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65 to 0.85. So before it was 1%. So it's not too bad, but they just nerfed Striker, the most overused gear set in the game. What do you guys think about this? I mean, I got thoughts, man. I got thoughts. A lot of you are saying, we'll just buff all of the other gear sets. Well, they did. They did do that. But apparently they had to nerf Striker too. Or did they have to? I don't know. So they're shaking up the meta. That is in general good for a game to do, you know, to keep things fresh. The problem I have with it is that we are such underdogs. I mean, I even felt that an all-red Striker with maximum damage, crits, most powerful weapons, whatever, was still weak, you know, just relative to that power feeling that other games give you. And so the time to kill is, yeah, the best in the game, but it still sucks because the bullet sponges in this game. And so this was the best thing we had for even SMGs and definitely assault rifles and even LMGs. We are still very far away from any sort of power fantasy. I think they should have probably just left this one alone and buffed everything else. I have laid out my thoughts. What do you think? I know some of you guys are gonna be real pissed. Okay, Umbra Initiative. While in cover, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give 1.2% critical damage increase and 0.4% RPM. The crit damage on it was impressive and RPM as well, and so they buffed both of those. I'm really curious to see how this pans out on paper and in practice and how close it gets to Striker. Brand sets, interesting. So they brought down repair skills on Alps, like really. China Light, they increased the status effect by 5%. Electrique, they decreased status effects. This is all PvP stuff. They're doing this for PvP. That sucks. I mean, we didn't need a decrease in Electrique. Okay, Empress International, 5% skill efficiency from 10. They're nerfing that? Like, what? I don't get these nerfs. I really don't. Wyvern instead of Wyvern. They rebranded that one. Wow, they decreased skill damage, increased status effects by marginal amounts, and increased duration. Yeah, these are wacky. Golan takes a nerf to status effects, so they're just really banging down those status effects. And then Habsburg, you get the increase at the back half of that. It's just crap. Less headshot damage off of Habsburg. It's only 2%, but that sucks. Bunch of nerfs. Let's see. Grupo takes a hit to crit damage. Wow. Gosh. So does Cheska? What's that about? Cheska takes a hit to crit chance? I mean, that's a staple. But they give us more Hasbro. Providence takes a hit to headshot damage. That sucks, actually. Then Sokolov takes a hit to crit damage. They're taking damage away from us here? Oh man, we're just so far away from being strong and they take away damage. Okay, Bighorn, talents. They give us more headshots grant plus 6%. Before it was plus 4, but we still get the same damage. So you're just gonna get there faster. That's better. And they had recently buffed this, so that's great. Double buffs. So, wow, look at this. We get more headshot damage on the mods. More accuracy, more stability. Good changes there, I guess. St. Elmo's, this is gonna suck. Here's the second one that got a hit. Brace yourselves. The whole thing just gets a nerf. They've decreased the mag size. They took away 10 rounds, so it's now maxing out at 60 rounds. Wow, right? Crit damage is changed to 15 from 20%. Wow, they nerfed the shit out of this one. The crit damage went down by 5%. Crit chance went down by 5% also. And the underbarrel weapon handling went down by 10%. Oh, man. Okay, the Eagle Bear gets a buff, though. Optics, 15% crit chance instead of the 10% before. And then 20% crit damage instead of the 15% crit damage. Okay. The Chameleon, all right. It gets a buff. Hitting 65 body shots grants 90% weapon damage. That's not a buff. Yeah, it is. Okay, they decreased the amount of hits you need by 10. And same with the leg. It used to be 30 leg shots. Now it's 20. Lady Death gets a buff. So more crit chance and then more crit damage. The Backfire gets a buff. Dealing damage to enemies adds a stack of 2% crit hit damage. Stacks last for 10 seconds and is capped to 100. Well, you're getting there faster, but it's the same amount. You get better mods. Oh, thank you. I've been saying that the mods were so weak on this. Somebody heard me. 15% crit chance instead of 5% crit chance. 15% crit damage instead of 5% crit damage. Chatterbox, all right, gets a buff. When you reload, rate of fire is increased by 25% instead of 20. Yeah, that's great. And then the mods get a change. Muzzles plus 15% crit hit damage. More weapon damage. They just buffed the weapon damage flat out. 14% weapon damage increase. Ouroboros. Oh my lord. They just nerfed the Ouroboros. They took away rate of fire and gave it a smaller mag. Holy. Those are 3 major hits. The metas all took a hit. I can't believe it. That's like the best weapon in the game. The 60 rounds was so good. If you're gonna decrease the DPS, you need to fix the talent. How could you just leave the talent like the way it is? It's crap. Iron Lung mods, optics, 10% crit hit chance. Okay, more crits. That's good. It's a good weapon, but they took away some base damage. The Bullet King gets more crit chance. That's a little helpful. And more stability because, yeah, that thing sucks. The Merciless gets more accuracy and more stability and more weapon handling because it still wasn't good enough, right? Oh, the Vindicator. What about this one? Oh my God, it was dead on arrival, right? So the weapon amplifies damage by 60% now instead of 40%. So 20% more amp damage is not a little thing. Oh my God, they just nerfed the Scorpio. Oh, you guys are gonna be pissed. Man. Okay, we're just getting hit left and right. This is the other meta. All of the metas have now been hit officially. So shooting a target applies a stack of venom, which lasts for 10 seconds. Okay, so poison now takes 3 hits. Oh my gosh, this thing, you're gonna be reloading all the time. Disorient takes 6 hits. Shock is 9 now. 10 for 20% more damage from all sources. Wow, I can't believe they just did that. They're gonna have to readjust this one. I don't like that at all. The reload is gonna be horrible. Taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30%. Each stack grants 1.5% weapon damage. Taking damage at max stacks triggers a purge. Okay, I'm not gonna read it all because nothing else changed. So they increased the stack of weapon damage to 1.5%. So you're basically gonna get there faster. Same 30% cap. That's good. Okay, there's one more, yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, now we're looking at weapons. Same thing here, buffs and nerfs by the color. Let's pick a couple of our favorites here. The Carbine 7 gets a increased damage. That's great. F2000 picks up more damage. Wow, that was a strong weapon. But ooh, its rate of fire was nerfed. Mag size was too. Didn't they just increase that? Reload speed decreased. Optimal range increased. Well, that's too bad. Val's a little bit better. The FAMAS takes more damage, still has its strong rate of fire, but its range and reload speed get worse. Wow, that might come back as the meta. The M4, higher base damage and a better reload. That's great. And then the TKB, oh, they decreased the rate of fire on the TKB. That sucks. Oh, that sucks a lot. That's what made it stand out from the AK-47. That's your Kingbreaker, folks. That's your Kingbreaker. Another meta takes a hit. All right, let's look at the SMGs. See if I can pick out our favorites. The MP5 was really strong, but they just decreased its mag size. Where is our Vector? So the Vector 45 takes a base damage hit and a reload speed hit. Oh man, it already had a bad reload. The Tactical Vector loses base damage. The M1928 gets a buff all around. Oh, I'm actually excited about that. You know, some of these weapons I really don't feel like they needed a change. The Banshee takes a hit. This one was leading on DPS, and now I'm not so sure. It takes rate of fire and base damage hit. That's crap. LMGs. An underplayed category. GR9 picks up some damage. The L86 gets nerfed. That was the one that everybody was talking about last season. The RPK also gets a nerf on its DPS side. That's too bad. Rifles. Let's see what we got here. This is important because these need to be stronger. So how many of them took a nerf? The ACR took a nerf? I mean, come on. Remember, the rifles are automatic now. The M1A gets a buff? Wow. That's the old meta right there. Coming back quite a bit too. Look, it went from 205 to 231. That's quite a change. They're bringing that one back. We got to try that one again. The Scar, the SIG, the 1886 gets a buff, and the reload speed gets a nerf. I don't know if I care. And they increased the mag size on the 1886. Wow, that's a big deal. That's one of my favorite weapons in the game. So at least there's some good news here. The MMR category. Let's see. SR1 takes a nerf. Oh boy, the M44, which is your White Death, picks up a buff on the weapon side. The SRS gets a nerf. This is my other favorite one. Oh, that's too bad, man. The 308 takes a nerf too. I mean, come on. Okay, shotguns. KSG is buffed. Same with the M870. Ooh, that's nice. Back to the lab with the shotguns, it looks like. Pistols. What did they do here? No, they nerfed the D50. That was the best pistol, the only one worth using. So they gave us a better rate of fire, though, and more optimal range. Damage from 220 to 189? How could they do that? The Diceros gets a buff. The Diceros is got a higher base damage than the D50? The Magnum has the highest base damage now? Is that what I'm seeing here? The Magnum is the new best weapon? I mean, I guess I'm okay with that. It is now stronger than what the D50 used to be. It handles better. Okay, that's crazy. Crazy. This is all crazy. Ooh, but the crit damage mods get a buff. And look at that stability mod. From 10% to 30. Wow, that's big. The Omega is one of my favorites. It takes a 20% increase. Wow, that's great. Yeah, I'm okay with more handling, I'm gonna say. More crit damage on some of these. So yeah, some good changes. You know, we'll just take those as they come. Better mods is good. We were saying that this last season, that one of the easiest ways to improve the game is just to go through the mod system, buff those, but also give us more variety. We need better scopes. Talents. Ooh, let's see what they did to talents. So lots of green, which is good, but there's a red down there. And gear talents. If you're below 30% armor, headshots from cover, repair 20%. Okay, yeah, still not super exciting. Gunslinger, which was always sort of interesting. Weapon swapping increases total weapon damage by 23% instead of 20. Yay. Kinetic momentum. So each stack increases your total weapon damage, or skill damage, excuse me, by 1.5% and total skill repair by 2%. So 0.5% increase on the damage side. That's great, actually. That's great. Obliterate takes a hit. Another meta takes a hit. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 17 times. Well, they nerfed the time. And maybe that's a typo, but it's 10%. It's 10 seconds. And right now, and they're bringing it back down to 5 seconds and taking damage away from us? Shit. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, Overwatch takes a 2% increase. Picar's holster gets nerfed? Oh, they really are messing with our heads now. I mean, they just took 5% away from our Picar's holster? How is that making us... That just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's got skill haste as its brand bonus. This is ridiculous now. Killer gets a buff though. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants 70% plus 70%. So wow, that's a huge change. Okay, measured. Wow, they buffed measured. Top half of the magazine is 25% rate of fire and negative 25% weapon damage. The bottom half of the magazine. Oh, I see. So some of these are perfect. stats. The parentheses are perfect stats. I get it. I was confused by the parentheses. Okay, the bottom half of the magazine is now -18. Yeah, nice. Behind you gets an increase. That's nice. So Brazen gets an increase. That's a good talent. Jazz Hands gets an increase. Oh, I love this. And it just increased its reload speed by 20%. Well, that's it, guys. So many changes. I know this comment section is going to be on fire. Mark your words, the devs are still in progress on this stuff, so there's a chance to influence the way this season pans out. Let's do it. Thank you for hanging out with me today. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
This was another episode of The Division 2. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The Division 2. And if you like builds like this, check out the recommended build video I have here for you. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandido to support the channel. Easy peasy. Now maybe this cheapskate can afford to sign me up for that dating app I've had my eyes on.
Follow me.
I get it.